Hey y'all, so I'm back. I am feeling good, as you guys can see. Welcome to Beyond the Veil. I am Adina, and I am going to do a cold case reading. It's not actually a cold case. I believe the case has been closed and considered a suicide. The person is an entrepreneur, a Black woman named Titi Branch. She was born June 10th, 1969 in Queens, New York. Her and her sister ran I believe, a hair care business, or a hair business, salon, hair care. Excuse me, I got a burp. A salon, hair care, excuse me guys, something like that. And she was married, and apparently she was having alleged mental health problems and marital problems and personal problems, which led to her alleged suicide. But her sister, who is also her business partner, and her family are allegedly not with the story of it being a suicide. Her husband, who I believe the sister did not like her sister being married to, I believe he ended up having somehow producing a will that was different from the one that her sister and business partner was familiar with, which gave him 50% ownership of the company or her money or something like that. So anyways, that's the backstory in a nutshell, without me being too specific. And please, if I got some of those details wrong, don't hold me to it, because I actually only came across this case earlier when I was getting dressed, ready to go out, and I needed some background noise while I got dressed. And so I played the video like it was a true crime podcast video of Titi Branch's death, and that's where I heard those details. And after I finished reading it, I actually wasn't really thinking about doing a reading. As I said, I was getting dressed, getting ready to go out, and I heard in my spirit, do my reading, do a reading on me. And so I thought, okay, well, actually, when I get home, I'm going to do a reading on Titi Branch, just to see what Titi Branch has to say. So with that being said, Titi Branch. Titi Branch. Titi Branch said, "It's been a long time since I've had a nice Cabernet." Now, Cabernet is my favorite glass of wine. I actually had some when I was getting dressed, listening to her case. That's what I was drinking. I hear it's been a long time since I've had a good Cabernet. I know exactly what kind of Black woman Titi Branch was. I'm looking at her picture, her and her sister. I like her. She likes me, I think, because we have good wine in common. I feel like, in my energy, I feel like we have good wine in common. She's a very sophisticated lady. She's kind of fun. Not kind of fun, but fun. Like, you would have to be pedigreed and cultured a little bit to understand her breed of fun. And I understand that breed of fun, so I get her. She feels like a lot of Black people thought she and her sister were bougie. But I get you, girl. So what do you have to say, Titi Branch? Let's just let you talk. What does the soul of Titi Branch have to say wherever it is, in whatever state it's in? something about the business, something about the money. Now, I hear in my mind the insurance policy or the will, the shares. I think that it was supposed to go to her sister and be split between something else. I'm not sure what exactly this is, but I'll come back to it, to be honest. It's in the present position. Challenging her husband. I get the energy that he was abusive, especially verbally. I don't get like punching, kicking, that type of abusive, but I definitely get verbally abusive. I get him saying racial slurs to her because she was African American and he was Caucasian, he was white. I get him saying racial slurs to her, being passive aggressive, being very mean, mentally, verbally, and emotionally abusive for sure. Financially abusive, like a user. He is challenging this money that was supposed to be split equally between, I hear, my sister and something or someone else. Maybe methinks the business. Like there's a share that was supposed to go to the sister personally to oversee, and then another share that was supposed to go to the business. Somehow the husband, he did produce a will that they said was changed right before Titi Branch passed away, allegedly. He thinks that that was done intentionally, as the Emperor in reverse is challenging. I get the impression that she maybe was thinking about leaving him, wanted to leave him. I don't know if she actually put forth the actions to do so, but she did. Because that's in her past position. She did. She had actually, I hear, spoken to a lawyer, talked to her sister, had talked to some friends or business partners, had begun trying to prepare her finances and business affairs for when she got ready to leave her husband. And I think that he found out about that, allegedly. And as a result, did something to keep her from being able to leave with all of her assets, allegedly. And methinks that there was a mistake that was made in something, in whatever happened to her, because I don't get suicide. This should have been the Hangman, or the Ten of Swords in reverse or something like that, if that was a suicide. This was something done to her to keep her from being able to go through with whatever she was going through with, that this Emperor in reverse found out about, having to do with her finances and her business affairs. But, you know, I get the impression that even though it's been ruled a suicide, there is something amiss in that is actually not just the family's belief, but there's something tangible, there's something real that is amiss in the suicide story, a mistake that was made on the person's fault that is responsible for trying to stop her from leaving. Methinks that it is this person, allegedly. As above, they got into it the day of her alleged suicide. Methinks about money, about business, money, business, her making arrangements, stashing money, allocating business and money and assets in order to prepare an exit. And they got into it that day about that, allegedly. Because he was going to allegedly be left, and he, as in her ex-husband, allegedly was going to be left out of her will, out of whatever arrangement she was making to allocate her money, and he did not want to be left out of it if she were to leave Her advice and her actions were to tell somebody what she was doing. We think she told her sister slash business partner, which is why there's a valid reason for them not believing that she committed suicide, not just my sister would never do that, out of emotion and grief, not wanting to accept things. There is a valid reason. There's something that the sister, Titi Branch, shared with her sister, maybe more than one person, about her plans, about her feelings, about what she was going through, because this is emotional, about what she was going through. So there's reason for them to feel like the husband can't be trusted, because they were privy to what she shared with them about what she was going through in her personal and emotional life. External energy. Again, Titi Branch was getting ready to leave her husband. Methinks he found out and did something to stop her from leaving. Her hopes and fears, Titi Branch, is that someone figure out what really happened to her. That's what she hopes for even now, even at this moment. Because again, I feel like there is something tangible, something in the documents, maybe. Something in the documents. I don't know if they had security cameras in their home. So, you know, document, security cameras, something, text messages, emails, something tangible and valid. Again, I keep saying that. Final outcome, well, so far nothing has come of what really happened to her, because it's been ruled a suicide. But this card says that that is not true, that there is more to the story that has yet to be uncovered, and there's something tangible, allegedly. I'm just gonna I don't know if they ever talked about or tried to have children and couldn't, or if that's something that Tiki and him discussed. Let me see, did Titi Branch have children? I don't think she had children. And I think that, I don't know if that's something that he threw up in her face. I don't know how long they were together. And I don't know if that's something that he threw up in her face, or if that's something that she regretted, or at some point maybe she regretted but then was grateful for towards the end when she decided to get ready to leave him. Let me look into the Six of Pentacles, which was the present energy, the reason why we're here. Strength card, Two of Swords reverse, Page of Cups reverse. So I'm going to go out on a limb right now and say that everything that I'm about to say and everything that I have said in this video is alleged. It's for entertainment purposes. I am telling a story from my imagination with picture cards. Methinks that Titi Branch was allegedly strangled, choked out some kind of way. You see that? Because they were having some kind of disagreement, and this feels like the biggest, like a blowout. And I'm looking into this card, the reason why we're here. So again, I think that she was allocating her assets and her funds, preparing to make her exit, and he approached her about it. They got into it, had a big blowout. And I don't know what she threatened to say, but I think that maybe he hit her, allegedly. And in order to keep her, maybe hit her and drew blood. And in order, you know, and he panicked because he knew that he had effed up by hitting her or whatever he had done to her. And to keep her from being able to, you know, go leave and say something about what had just transpired between them. This allegedly happened. Again, I think that he was being left out of the will. And she was planning on leaving with everything. Now I'm going to look into the Emperor in reverse, which is challenging. Judgment. Hangman. There we go. Page of Pentacles in reverse. Something that he did to cover up. After he did what he did something to cover up. So maybe place, because I know that she was found with something, I think they said a plastic bag around her head. Whatever happened, he did it in order to make it look like it was a suicide. Because I said if this was a suicide, this is what I would have expected to see in the outcome. Or even in the future card, not this, doing something to keep her from going through with whatever she was going through with. But here it is in his energy. The Emperor reverse. It's in his energy. Why is the suicide card in his energy? He's alive. Next to this Page of Pentacles in reverse. So I think that whenever he did what he did, he made it look like it was a suicide, allegedly. What was she planning to do with the Three of Wands in her past? Titi Branch. Divorce. Justice. And her family knew. Her sister knew. They didn't like her husband. I hear he was a jerk. That's what somebody called him. He was a jerk. They thought that he was only with her because of who she was. And he didn't bring anything to the table. And they didn't like the way he spoke to her. And I feel like they thought that he was doing something already legally with money or paperwork. Something sneaky. I don't know if he was having an affair. I think that I heard something about him. I don't know. Maybe that was something else I was watching. I don't know if he was having an affair, but I see that he could have been talking to someone else, maybe a colleague or someone that they used to work with, something like that, and denied it. I see that he had to, after he allegedly did what he did in order to make it like a suicide, he had to. I feel like whatever he did, it wasn't premeditated. Wait, I take that back. No, it was. It wasn't necessarily premeditated. Maybe he felt like he could have did something like that, but at the time when it happened, it was triggered by the argument they were having, and she was going to leave him at that moment because they were arguing and had, it had reached a point of no return. They're arguing. Whatever she's doing is out there now, because I think he tried to confront her about whatever she was doing to prepare to divorce him. And he lashed out. He lashed out because he seems to be that way. He has it in him to do so. And whatever he did, he couldn't let her leave and tell anyone exactly what he did. And he was going to be left out of the money. All right. Full in reverse, her future. What did he see? What did something? Somebody saw something. Who saw something? Let me see. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the law enforcement, when they got there, they saw something that did not align with her husband's story, and they told him what to do. To make it look like what it was. Allegedly, I wouldn't be surprised if one of the officers got there and saw something and knew exactly what really happened and said, you better do X, Y, and Z, do this, put this here. I think the husband had some help from a law enforcement officer that got there. Someone that maybe he knew, was familiar with, to help mess up the real crime scene. I am going to have to stick with that. Allegedly, an officer that got there said, hey, whatever you just said, whatever happened here, do this. Put this here, put this here. I'm going to act like I don't see this. I'm going to take this and throw it away. Get rid of this, hide this, or something like that. All right. And I just want to go ahead and get to the outcome with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse for Titi Branch. Queen of Pentacles. The Empress, the Star, and the outcome is the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Well, whatever this is, I would like to say that with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, Titi Branch passed away and is no longer with us because of her empire, because because of her business, her money, her brand. Ironically, I remember it being mentioned that her husband alluded to the fact that she was dealing with some kind of depression and mental health issues or something like that. And I see no cards anywhere in this spread that have anything to do. I don't see the moon in reverse. I don't see a gang of swords. I don't see any of that. I see a lot of pentacles. I see a lot of money. I see this in the challenging position. And the only time I saw suicide was when I looked into this Emperor in reverse. I think that the truth that hasn't been brought out about Titi Branch is that her death was a result of her success and who she married. Because here's the Emperor here, the Empress. Her fame, her name with the star, her money, her success with the Queen of Pentacles, and who she married with the Empress. That is the reason why she is no longer with us, and that still has yet to be put to bed. Her family, her sister, her family has yet, which is the outcome for Titi Branch, has yet to be okay with the results of what they said happened and move on. The people that matter are not okay with the results of what they said happened, which was a suicide. And methinks because this is the outcome for Titi Branch and I'm reading her, she is inclined to agree that what happened to her. And before we go, I want to look into the argument they got into, and then we'll go. The Wheel of Fortune, Tiki's fortune. He confronted her about her fortune that she was getting ready to squeal away for her new start, her new beginning. After separation, she was getting ready to separate from him. They were getting ready to leave. She was going to divorce, and he could not let her leave with all that money. And that's just what I have to say for Titi Branch. That is what Titi Branch has to say. That is what she wants to say about what happened to her. And after all of that, after 30 minutes, the hangman, my suicide card, still did not only come out but one time. And that was when I was looking into the Emperor in reverse, her husband. So with that being said, God bless you, Titi Branch. I release you back into the realms where you've come from. And I hope that your story gets out there and that the truth comes out on your behalf and that you get justice. Ashe and amen. Good night, you guys.
Someone keyed our car, put fuck into his and put hoe into mine. So I have been driving this because I had a big